Hey everybody, what is up? This is going to be an amazing video. I'm super jazzed. Are you super jazzed?
Super jazzed.
I'm super jazzed. Doo-doo-doo. Super jazzed. But anyway, I am Devin LaVore, and this is...
Michelle LaVore.
Coming at you. So, it has been amazing.
Yeah.
Like crazy. You know, this is the truth. Sometimes... even as prophetic people or whatever it is, just walking in relationship with the Lord, right? And you hear something from the Lord, you question it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can go a long time question it. And you go, because things don't turn out the way you thought they would. John the Baptist, who baptized Jesus, said, wait, are you the Messiah or should we expect another? So see, it's part of the normal, like, wait, I don't understand. And so it's like, on the 8th of October, got my notes. On the 8th of October, we felt like the Lord said,
hey, we're ready.
You are ready. Like, no more training. No more wilderness. No more wilderness camp training on how to do things and all that stuff. And then, go ahead.
Yeah, and then we came to Monday, and it was like, whoa, what happened? Because we were just all this anxiety and all of this stuff, and then again...
which we didn't feel attached to, which we talked about in our previous video. We're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know?
And then for me, again, this morning, I was just hit so hard with this fear of lack of provision, which I'm like, we dealt with this, like, back in August, and I felt like I had this huge breakthrough, and I really haven't dealt with it since then.
And all of a sudden,
here it comes, and it was just so strong. Like, I mean, I haven't felt it like that in such a long time, and you know, worked through it, and
it was rough.
It was rough.
It was rough, y'all. Just gonna be honest.
But we made it through.
We did.
And
what I always say. It was just a moment.
It was just a moment.
It was just a moment.
And so we started praying, and we really felt like, especially for you, you were just like, okay, we need to pray. And so we started praying the word, praying the promises that God has given us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I felt like. I felt like what I wanted to do yesterday on that day, and the Lord was like, nope, don't do that.
Yeah. Today
I did, and he was like, yeah, do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're weird, man.
Yeah.
But I love you. And so I trust you. So.
But we started just praying, and we ended up talking. You wrote down, "Be strong and courageous."
Yeah.
And that had to do with.
Oh, that was after our declaration prayer. We had a whole nother time of prayer.
Yeah.
Because I felt like the Lord was like, no, I'm still on you to pray. Yeah. And I was like, I know, I can feel this. It's like, babe, we just need to pray, because we just need to keep praying.
Yeah.
And not isolate our prayer to like this little even our spontaneous prayer times can be prayer times.
Yeah.
And the Lord's like, no, I'm doing something here.
Yeah.
You know? And
then you were mentioned, I don't know how it came about in the prayer, but you mentioned, you know, crossing the Jordan.
Yeah.
And
because Techie Space, hey, she gave us this link to oh my gosh, what's his name? Neville Johnson, I think, and he talked about the Jordan River and what it represented for us personally as believers, not just us, but as believers in general.
Yeah. And so when Devin was he mentioned the Jordan River, and all of a sudden it just like clicked, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we are in the Jordan River. Like, we are actually crossing. And
still not happening the way we thought it was going to happen.
No, not at all.
This is really happening.
But it was just, and the reason was that, will you explain kind of what he was talking about with the Jordan and like...
Oh, well, he was saying like, for our own, in order for us to go from our personal wilderness to our personal promised land, we have to cross this raging river of anxiety, fear, doubt, confusion, unbelief, and that's all going to come at us. But he's like, we have to pass through it. Yeah. We have to work our way through it if we're going to get to the promised land. It's almost a symbol of like Jesus saying, hey, everyone get in the boat. We're going to the other side. That's the word. The word is we're going to the other side. It's not going to be like, oh, Jesus, we got hit with a storm. I guess it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
No, Jesus is like, no, we're going to the other side. And then they got hit with the most intense storm.
Yeah.
And they were like, don't you care that we're drowning? You know?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, where's your faith? Sit down, be quiet. Now I'm going to talk to my disciples and say the same thing. So
and,
that's what Neville Johnson was talking about.
And so, but then we were reminded of, well, when the Israelites crossed over the Jordan, they had the priests go in first and they carried the Ark of the Covenant. And that when they went into the river, then that's when God, he stopped the flow so they could cross
on dry
land. And it's like, for us, that's really what it's been. It's like, in order for us to spiritually cross and not be swept away with the anxiety, the doubt, the fear, the unbelief, all of that is that you have to hold on to God, which is like the Ark of the Covenant.
Hold on to them promises, baby.
And so that's really what God was having us do. And it's like, all right, you just have to hold on to these promises. And for me, like, when we realized that, I was just like, wow, this makes so much sense. And so we really felt like we stepped into the Jordan on Monday. And that's why we started feeling...
On the 9th, yep.
Yeah, all of, this
yesterday. Yeah.
Anxiety. And then again today, things coming against us. And then as we were praying, we really felt like God was saying, okay, you still have one more day.
Yeah, God was like, he was sharing with me, like, I guess at the same time, but we didn't really share it. It was just like, this is going to be tomorrow too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it was very encouraging, actually, because I was like, I mean, you got to think about this. They crossed over the Jordan on dry land.
Yeah.
So thorough was the miracle that the land wasn't even wet from the water that just had parted on it. You have a beach, or you're on a beach. The water comes in and it rushes in and it rushes out. Well, all that sand is wet.
Yeah.
Even if you can walk on it, it's wet. No, they crossed on dry land.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, that's a pretty thorough God doing a pretty thorough miracle,
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, look, this is definitely me. You're walking on dry ground.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to read through some of this stuff just to kind of like recap what's been going on. So on the 8th day of October, God's like, you're ready. So it's like right there, he's declaring the number 8. It's a new beginning, right? And so right there, he's declaring this is a new day. I'm getting ready to do something new. You are ready. Which also happened to be the 4th day of Sukkot, by the way, because we've been following the Hebrew festivals as well.
Yeah.
And on the 9th day of October, we were expecting something amazing to happen on the 9th day of October. And that's when we stepped into the Jordan. We didn't realize
it. It's another one of those times where it was like, we didn't think there was a lot going on, but actually there was.
Yeah. On these down days, you think, wow, man, I don't know. There's a whole bunch going on. There's just as much going on your down yo-yo days as there is on your mountaintop yo-yo days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just as much happening. So it's like we stepped into the Jordan, the raging river of anxiety, fear, doubt that we seemed somewhat detached from, which we already made a video about, right? Which was also the 5th day of Sukkot, yesterday. Yesterday on the 5th day, which represents, what does 5 represent? The grace of God, which is also the power of God.
Yeah.
It was on that day that we stepped in. I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm just looking at this kind of freaking out as God was giving it to us tonight.
Yeah.
And then today, the 10th day of October, felt the same sense of anxiety and river-rushing fear, especially about provision.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because it's like the prophetic voices, particularly Lana Vassar, has been saying the very area where you have been hit the hardest and been messed up the most, but that's the very thing that God's going to get ready to turn around and resurrect.
Well, and I thought it was really cool today, too, because you actually woke up and God spoke to you. He's like, he's gonna give provision, and you said he told you that like 4 times.
No, it was more like 12
or 12.
It's crazy. He just kept saying it over and over. I'm just like, is this just my mind like looping what I've heard just to remind me, but it doesn't matter why it was happening, but it just kept saying, I just felt like the Lord was like, I have provision for you, Devin. Mm-hmm. And I was like, awesome, because I really wasn't having an issue with the provision, even though we felt it. Mm-hmm. We were feeling the issues and such. I just wasn't, I was like, I mean, to me, the last 2 days have been proof that I really have emptied myself. Yeah. And in those moments where I'm just like, come on, this needs to happen or that needs to happen, I can get rid of it like pretty quick. I'm just like, whatever, man. God is God. He's going to do his thing. Yeah. You know? And I'm cool with it. But it was just interesting because the first thing that the Lord said to me was like, I have provision for you. Mm-hmm.
And that was the area that for me, I was being hit so heavily in.
And we needed it, unbeknownst to me. Yeah. A little 16th century English there. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that it was going to be a word. God giving me that word, and it's like later on you're going to realize why I'm giving you this word. Mm-hmm. And then, man, it was like, wow, we really needed it because you started struggling. And then my response to her struggling was stellar husband. That was so awesome. I wasn't. That's sarcasm. Smells like it. Anyway. And I was just like, oh my gosh, we got into an argument about money. And I'm like, when have we? Babe, we're going like 100 steps back.
I know, for real.
What is going on here?
It was like decades ago.
I know. I'm like, I was like, you know what? Something's going on. It's like, look, we just need to pray. Yeah. That's all there is to this. Yeah. We just need to pray. And then I felt like the Lord was like, you need to declare the promises. You need to get the ark in your hand and start saying what God said, because we felt like the Lord said for us that I was like, Lord, well, what's the next step after we've crossed over since October 1st? I'm like, well, what's the next step? And I felt like the Lord said, the next step is going to be desires fulfilled. Yeah. I'm like, now don't mess with me, man of God. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like that lady who she was like, oh, by this time next year, you're going to have a son. He's like, now don't mess with me, man of God, because that was the biggest desire of her heart. Yeah. Right? And she was like, don't mess with me. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, whatever, Lord. And then he gave me 3 scriptures. Yeah. Psalm 37:4, Proverbs 13:12, and Psalm 145:19. And then on the 6th, he talked to me about tree of life. Just the same way he was saying, I have provision for you, Devin, this morning. He just kept saying tree of life to me that day. Yeah. Tree of life, man. And like that was the next thing. And I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome. So we began praying all the different things. And not only that, but we were pulling scriptures and promises out from just from everywhere that we could to declare to God, like, this is what you're going to do. And this is particularly, though, what he was going to do next. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is what you're going to do next. And I was reminded of the vision of us standing at the door of the banquet and God just blowing open the doors and all that. And the first numbers I saw this morning that really popped out at me were 44 and 88 and 333. Yeah. You know, because when you start getting into this numbers thing, you really start seeing numbers everywhere. Yeah, all over the place. It's just like reading the word. When you start getting into the Bible, you're just reading it and reading it and reading it. Well, not everything you read is going to pop out at you. Yeah. It's like, ooh, is that a scripture for me in my life right now? Ooh. And it's like, no, the Lord will let you know. Yeah. And then part of me, I was just like, Lord, is the Lord really speaking through these numbers right now? Yes. Came from the Lord. Yeah. He was like, yes, I am. And I was like, okay, he doesn't want us to doubt. Yeah. You know, he's like, this is something new I'm doing. I'm establishing it in you. Don't start to doubt it, you know? Yeah. And so we took out the promises of God and began to declare them to him and make requests of him in line with how he has been teaching us to see in the Spirit. Yeah. Because he's been teaching us, like, what's going on in the Spirit is what's really happening. Yeah. What's going on in your bank account and your life and all that's all temporary. Yeah. But what's going on in the Spirit is bringing forth something eternal and powerful from God. And you have to start seeing like that. That's all part of the training that we had back then. You know, God then revealed that we were in the process of crossing over. Mm-hmm. You know, comparing the onslaught of anxiety to the Jordan River, which is a rushing, flowing river. It's intense. Yeah. You know, it's not like the Red Sea, which could be kind of calm at times, you know. Yeah. And you were talking about closeness to the ark and the word and the promise is important for the crossover. Yeah. And today is the 6th day of Sukkot. So And we felt like the Lord had put us in this intense time of focused prayer.
Yeah. And it was really cool too, because we were reading then we were reading Joshua, the first chapter, and we felt like the 3 P's of like the
from the when you're seeing 11:11, what's God saying that, from the Dr. Patricia show and portout.org.
Yeah.
About the provision, possession, and prophecy.
Yeah. And so like God just kind of showed us like those 3 things even within the first chapter of Joshua.
Yeah, because God says be strong and courageous 3 times, but he connects something to that strong and courageous.
Yeah.
And each time it's something slightly different, and we're like, oh my gosh, he's saying provision, possession, and prophecy right there in those 3. He's like, be strong and courageous because blah 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 blah, possession.
Yeah.
Be strong and courageous, something.
Which was the same as provision. And then the last one, he's like,
because I'm going to be with you,
which is basically the prophecy and the presence of God, really.
And that was in chapter 1.
Yeah, yeah. So that was really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
so God revealed that this would continue throughout tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is going to be the 7th day.
Yeah.
Of Sukkot, and it's going to be the 11th day of October. And so it's like there's all these numbers that are being associated with what God is doing. And so we were thinking like, oh my gosh. So are you saying, okay, so we're still crossing tomorrow, but then on the next day,
which would be the 12th.
Which would be the 12th, you're saying we're going to be completely crossed over. And I'm like, whoa, which reminded me of a word that God gave us, and he reminded of us many times throughout the past year or so. And it was, enjoy this time that you have, because it is never, the Lord said, it is never going to be like this again.
Yeah.
Why? Because you need a miracle to cross from Egypt to Jordan, to cross the Jordan, to go from Egypt to the Promised Land, right? And it's like, but once you cross, you're not crossing back over.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was the 2.5 tribes that had land on that side, but the prophetic pattern, the prophetic picture for our lives is like, you're not going back there.
No.
You're not going back to wilderness training and that's why we feel like these last 3 days have been like, more like, not so much assignment or mission, but more like proving, like, yeah, you really are moving forward.
Yeah.
In this, there's no more learning. Oh well, let's learn this and learn that. There's not much more. There's none of that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like so then the question came up: what could happen on October 12th?
Yeah.
What could happen? Just saying. Hashtag.
Yeah. And I think what got us really excited about it is we were kind of looking at, you know, the Sukkot. Sukkot.
Yeah, you said it right.
Yeah. And just like how it relates to what they have is called their 8th day, like the 8th day festival. And so,
which is actually a completely separate festival from the Sukkot, but they still say it's the 8th day.
Yeah.
So
so it was kind of, because for us it's like tomorrow would be the 7th day of Sukkot, and it's like the ending of everything. Yep. And then they have this 8th day celebration, which for us would then be that next day, that October 12th.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, oh my gosh, like this could be really crazy. And we were actually watching the video.
It was like an hour and 25 minutes long, but it was worth it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was well worth it, man.
And so it just kind of got us.
Our friend from London sent us.
Yes.
I think you're from London. Are you from London? Just Facebook me.
And it was really good, and it just got us super excited about the possibilities of what October 12th for us would mean.
Yeah, right. So, and we thought about the number 12, and like, wow, the number 12 represents just God's perfect governmental authority, just like coming in, stepping in, and going, hey, I got this in a way that no one else can. You can't even get this.
Yeah.
I got this. I'm going to get ready to show you I got this. And so we got on, let me see. 12 is the number of God's government, his authority, stepping up to do what only he can possibly do. Jesus feeds 5,000, not including women and children, and 12 baskets of leftovers were picked up by his disciples. 12. That's him just saying, hey, I got this.
Yeah.
I told you I had this. And the woman you brought up, the woman with the issue of blood had the issue of blood for 12 years.
Yeah.
No man could touch that issue.
Yeah.
I want to preach right there. But only Jesus could heal her.
Yeah.
After 12 years. Jairus' daughter was 12 years old and she died.
Yeah.
And then Jesus resurrected her. So God is about to do what only he can do, a la Lana Vassar's word that she prophesied back in July. I think it was like July 27th or something she came out with that word.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She said that God spoke to her and said, I'm about to do what only I can do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I'm actually kind of glad it didn't happen in July and the beginning of August like I wanted it to, because there's just so much more that we needed to learn and have established in our hearts, and even some little micro healings, you know.
Yeah.
And so we came up with some other stuff, you know. On the 12th, Isaiah, our son, our fourth born, the physical sign that God gave us regarding what he was about to birth in our lives, he will be 3 months old.
Yeah. And I thought this...
And it's going to get weird, but it's going to get cool.
I thought it was just kind of significant. And it's funny because it's actually been cool. Yesterday, we started with the kids that they would start to lead our God time. So they get to pick the story that we do and the music, everything. And so
birth something new, and they did amazing.
They did so good. It was so much fun.
For a 7 and a 6 and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Let them lead God time. And they did, like, amazing.
Yeah. And so last night was our daughter's turn, and so she wanted to do the acting out.
Acting out the
story. And so she wanted to do the story of Moses. And then... I was reminded of it when I was like, oh, Isaiah, he's going to be 3 months old. Well, in the story, Moses is 3 months old when they can no longer keep him hidden. And they have to put him in the basket, and he needs a miracle to basically live. And so we were just talking about, like, wow, like, he could no longer be kept hidden. And that's really the place that we've been in for so long, in the cave. Like, God's just given us those pictures.
4+ years.
The cave, and that we're very hidden and all of these things. And so it's almost like, all right, you've gotten to the point now where you can no longer be hidden. And so I just think that it is significant that on October 12th, Isaiah is going to be 3 months old.
Yeah. Our little sign, our little prophetic Moses, who's, you know what I mean? He's like, and it's interesting because, you know, the number 44 came up to me, and I really stuck it to this because we've been here 4 years and we're currently in our 4th month. We've been here 4 years and 3 months complete, but we're in our 4th month now. So then the number 44 that I got this morning really jumped out at me. I was just like, that's what that meant? I would have never known that. Had it not been for you. I couldn't have, like, looked that up online and studied, you know, grace and Torah to find you know, that's the thing about these prophetic numbers. It can't become a Kabbalah for us where we just spin some dials and do some sort of, you know, Hebrew mathematics and come up with what God's saying. You don't need that. You have the Holy Spirit in you that's going to let you know. You know, one of my videos was 666, and I was just like, what are you saying? I don't even want to know. I was like, I don't know. 666 views. Oh, Lord, what are you saying? And the Lord was like, relax. He's like, I'm not saying anything.
It eventually is going to happen.
Moses was 3 months old and could no longer be hidden. I thought that was, like, pretty awesome. I'm like, we can no longer be hidden. We're getting ready. And it kind of... Honestly, so many visions that we have fit with that. And I don't want to go through all of them, but... And so, 3 months, he'll be 3 months old. Here's some numbers. Oh, to lay some groundwork for what I'm getting ready to say, Troy Brewer said that there's 4 perfect numbers in the in God's economy of numbers. And he said that's 3, 7, 10, and 12. Okay? 4 numbers. 3, 7, 10, and 12. Keep that in mind. Because our son Isaiah is a prophetic sign.
Yeah.
So there's prophetic, he's a prophetic sign, I'm not surprised that there's prophetic numbers associated with him.
Yeah.
Not only that, but with our third-born son, Eliah, who's also was prophesied over him that this child is being born to remind you of the blessing of God. So here we go. This is like probably the coolest part of the video for me. But Isaiah will be 3 months in a place where we can no longer be hidden, that whole thing. In the 10th month of the year, on the 12th day.
Yeah.
That's 3 out of 4 of the perfect numbers, right? And he was born on 7/12.
Yeah.
He was born on July 12th. In the Hebrew month, like this, like on the 12th of October, it will be the Hebrew month of the 7th. It's the 7th month.
Yeah.
And it will be on the 22nd day of their month. And when God uses 2s or 222 or triple 2s for us, he's always talking about the house of God. Or and a lot of time, but also in a subsidiary way or a supplemental way, he's talking about the house, the actual physical house that he wants to give us right there in Nashville. Holla. But I thought it was interesting because we're in the Hebrew, the 7th month, the Hebrew 7th month. So right there,
you've got
on the 12th day, it's almost like stars. And I'm not trying to be weird. I'm really not. But it's like you've got the 3, the 7, the 10, and the 12. Yeah. Right there on that one day.
Yeah. And then the fact that it's going to be the 8th day of Sukkot.
Sukkot.
The 8th day, which is very much the new beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge celebration day. And so that is also just, we're like, wow, like, Lord, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I have here, it's like the 12th day of October. Oh, wait. But before we go that, I wanted to read this part about Eliah.
Oh, yeah.
Eliah, he's our, he's the one that God prophesied that he represents the blessing. And man, everything about him is slow. He takes his time to do everything. And I'm like, you really are like a blessing. You just taking forever to do everything. You sit on the potty and you take forever. You're just peeing, dude. Get off. You've been on there for 5 minutes. You're not pooping. You're peeing. Get your everything. He's like, takes forever to eat. And I'm just like, wow. And he's the shortest of our kids. Mm-hmm. So everything about him, think about the reversal that this is. Everything about him is just little. He's just a little guy. He takes his time to do everything. But then when Isaiah is born, the one who's like, oh, the promise is getting ready to be born, he's huge.
Yeah.
He's the biggest kid you've ever born. I didn't birth nothing. the biggest kid we've ever born. I didn't do nothing. I was just, babe, do you need anything? You know, that's about all I did. You know, I'm just like, that's about all I did right there. But he is accelerated growth. Everything about him is very, very fast. The very opposite of Eliah. He's just the reverse of everything that Eliah is. And of course, we love them both. We love them both dearly. But check this out. So Eliah, the prophesied blessing, the reminder of the blessing that's to come and be fulfilled through the promise fulfilled, right? And God gives us another kid for that. But born at 40 weeks and 4 days, right? The 12th of October is 40 weeks and 4 days.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Of this calendar year, of the 2017, the Gregorian calendar, you know, that is going to be 40 weeks and 4 days. And that's when the blessing was born. I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's just so much prophetic fireworks going off here. Pop, 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 pop. On the same day that the child of promise will be 3 months is 40 weeks and 4 days. The blessing can no longer be hidden. It is about to be born. Promises will be fulfilled. And Isaiah was born 8 days after his due date. 8 days after his due date, signifying a new beginning, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, wow.
And this will also be 8 days of Sukkot.
Sukkot, woman.
One day I'll get it right.
It's okay. I think they get it by now, right? So anyway, 12th day of October is the 8th day of
Sukkot.
There you go. Sukkot, the miracle day, the mystery day, the number of new beginnings. Going into the 8th day of Sukkot, at the conclusion of the 7th, you're allowed to go back home. You don't have to be under the sukkah, which is the little lean-to or the little tent, the little refuge. And it reminded me of when God said, "Welcome home, son," after we got off the plane in Nashville. Totally reminded me of that. God was like...
And that was back in April.
It was back in April. We went to visit there just to check it out, to spy out the land, so to speak, And the Lord said, as soon as we got off the plane, the Lord was like, "Welcome home, son." And I was like, that just might be me. It's like, "Welcome home, son." I'm like, I don't know, is that really you, Lord? And God's like, "Yes, I'm saying that to you. I'm saying, welcome home, son." And he said it to me 3 times before we even got out the airport. I mean, before we really got through that whole walkway thing that connects the plane to the terminal. And I was like, wow, okay. And I thought it was significant because you can't go back to your home at the end of this festival or whatever. You can't go back to some place you've never been.
Yeah.
So it's like if we had never gone, and it's like looking back in hindsight, I'm going, man, I'm so glad. I think that really was the Lord sending us out there. But it was as scouts.
Yeah.
And we thought it was the final thing, which we believe personally is getting ready to happen. Because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Should we let him in?
Sure.
Because ever since we've had that crossover moment on October 1st, that day, October 1st, someone called us and began dialoguing with us about the house that we're wanting in Nashville. Yeah. And ever since then, the dialogue has not stopped. And it's almost like there's this pursuit and this buildup. And the Lord said to us that it's time to write the letter. Yeah. So and not only that, but they had already emailed us and asked us a bunch of questions. And we felt like the Lord was like, just write the letter. Meaning, tell them your heart. Tell them your story. Tell them what's going on with you. And, we didn't just go crazy on the details. No. But we're just like, this is what we're very candid though. We're like, this is what we feel like God's saying, and this is where we're at, and we're just pursuing the Lord, and we really have our heart set on this house, and we really feel like God wants us to have this house. How is it going to happen? We really don't know. But man, this is where our heart is. We're after this thing, man. We want this, and they've been communicating with us steadily ever since. Yeah. And so I just think it's significant that's I just think all of these things are working together to come to this culmination point. One of the things that was prophesied to us on March 15th through one of the 2 emails that we received that we really felt like were from the Lord, because they both pretty much said the same thing, and because we were really struggling back then. And one of them, my dear Greek friend that I've known, for years. Yeah. She said, "I feel like the Lord's saying that He loves your vision. He's into your vision. He's saying yes to your vision, and that it's all going to culminate together at some point in time. And you're going to say, aha, that's what you meant." And we're feeling the aha like right now. And there's just so much stuff that's culminating right now. Yeah. And so I just thought that was cool. And so the conclusion. If we are in the process of a spiritual crossover into our promised land, leaving this temporary dwelling behind, just trust me, this is a sucker right here. Then we can expect that on the 12th day, God will enact and perform what only He can perform. Yeah. A la resurrection from the dead, healing an issue that only He can heal. Yeah. And my wife, that applies to her big time. Yeah. Appearing to us in a way that only He can appear. Because on the 8th day of Jesus' resurrection, He appeared to His disciples for the 2nd time. So He appeared to them and said, "Hey, I've been resurrected." And then it was like 8 days went by. Well, it was on that 8th day, and then He appeared to them again. Yeah. So they went a whole week without seeing Him. Yeah. And they're probably like, "Where are you? What's going on?" Yeah. So to recap, on the 8th day, God said, we're ready on the 8th
Yeah.
day of October.
Yeah.
And basically through the 9th through 11, 3 days,
Mhm.
9th, 10th, 11th. I mean, it's like, this is why you brought the numbers into our
Yeah.
lives, so we could see, like, this is the Lord.
Yeah.
Very specifically, you know. And then the 12th, you know, question mark, miracle. God doing what only he can do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So we don't really know, like, exactly
And our
what
hearts
he's
are not
gonna,
set on any
no.
particular expectation.
My expectation, though, is that God is going to show up.
And do something awesome.
And,
He's going to hand us the keys to the house of David.
yeah.
In a house in Nashville. You heard
But,
me?
I don't know, but we're definitely very excited. We're excited just, you know, to see what God is going to do on the 12th and what that looks like for us. And, you know, it's really just, I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I am too.
And, you know, we don't know what even tomorrow is going to look like. We know we're still going to be crossing over, so.
We'll be praying a lot.
Praying a lot, yeah.
All kinds of prayer. And
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, what time is it now? It's 11:09 and we're doing this video.
Yeah.
Because we were doing some studying and listening to the Lord and talking about other things, and it's just like, whatever. And I felt like the Lord was like, you gotta do a video
yeah,
still.
Yeah.
He's
So
like, you're gonna be a day off if you don't.
So we rallied ourselves, and it's like, all right. It didn't take too much rallying.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well,
pretty
once you
exciting.
step into it, it's
Yeah.
like the Spirit of the Lord is either going to be with you to flow or he's not.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do it on your own. So,
But yeah, so
thank you, Lord.
that's just kind of what's been going on in our life, and
We are mega excited.
yeah, just to see what God is gonna do. And
I have to tell you, I am excited to actually be excited and not have that excitement attached to anything specific.
mhm.
Because it's like, because whatever, see, and I think that's the importance of emptying yourself. Because it's like, whatever God does, you're going to be happy. You're going to be excited
There's
about it.
not
Like,
gonna
oh, that's
be
awesome.
the disappointment of like, oh man,
Yeah.
again, I thought you were gonna do this, and then you did this, and it's really cool what you did, but I
Right.
really wanted you to do
Right. And God's already told us, he's like, I'm not going to do that. It's
Mhm.
not, I'm not going to do this big disappointing thing for you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is awesome. So
Yeah.
we hope you guys are encouraged by our journey,
Yeah.
and maybe it might help you to see some of the events that are going on in your life. You're like, whoa, it might help you interpret it differently.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I thought this was just normal attack from the enemy, or I just thought nothing was going on. But man, when I look at it, wow, God really is doing something.
Yeah.
And he's doing something amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, I hope that you guys just have some, I don't know, just even breakthrough in the sense of just revelation and seeing things differently. Because I know for myself, when I realized, oh, we're crossing the Jordan, I mean, it
changed you.
completely changed
Yeah.
my entire perspective, and it was really
I know it was
good.
just 11:09. I know that. But it's 11:11. I just noticed. I wasn't being like, oh, it's 11:10. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's 11:11. Nope, just noticed. 11:11, man. Prophecy, provision, possession.
Yeah. So, we hope that this encourages all of you, and until next time, we'll see you later.
I try to interrupt at least 11 times per video.
I
I think I'm doing pretty good with that.
I think so.
What do you guys leave some comments? They're going to be like, I'm thinking like 200.
Yeah. Like the 200, Alex.
Yeah. You are too much. All right, guys. Hope that was an encouragement.
Yeah.
We are excited, and we will make another video tomorrow about whatever happens tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it may be late at night. So, anyway,
We'll
God
see you
love you
later.
guys. God bless you guys. Keep up the comments, and we will see you next video.
Bye.